It's so hard because I know the data here. So when I take these calls from new investors because they're picking up, I'm telling you, I have a new investor on the phone at least once every 2 days for Westfield specifically that's picked up a new construction property. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, ooh. I'm like, not that it's not a great market because it's a crazy good market. It is, but unfortunately, the saturation is real.
Okay, Westfield, my previous favorite market, and just when you thought the days on the market couldn't get worse, they sure did. Look at that. I mean, talk about my speech on days on the market, but gosh, it is hard.
I know. And honestly, when
days on the market.
It's so hard because I know the data here. So when I take these calls from new investors because they're picking up, I'm telling you, I have a new investor on the phone. I would say realistically, without exaggerating, at least once every 2 days. If
Westfield
not
specifically?
For Westfield specifically, that's picked up a new construction property. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, ooh. I'm like, not that it's not a great market because it's a crazy good market. It is. I think superior to Fisher's in the long run. But unfortunately, the saturation is real. It is real. And when you call Red Door Property Management, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. As much as I would love to earn your business, you and I are going to have a difficult conversation when that property's been on the market for 50 days. Because you're trying to cover costs, so we had to remain at a certain figure as far as market rent, and I insist on getting ahead of those awkward conversations. So anyway, there it is. That's how it relates to the real time conversations.
No, and I mean I think that's why we do these market reports, right? Is to educate our existing owners, educate potential owners, and just educate everybody on really what's going on out there. And again, we would rather have that hard conversation up front and maybe not accept the business versus, just giving them promises and saying, oh, I'll rent it up. But, the reality is that Westfield is saturated. Westfield does have a 98 days on the market. So you need to go in with eyes wide open and act appropriately in terms of condition and price, and just know what you're getting yourselves into. So anyway, let's dive into the data. There's 75 homes on the market. Actually, thankfully, that's maybe a one bright spot is it's the number of homes is down 9%, which is great. Average rental price, I mean, it's down slightly, about 1% month over month, and then 3% year over year. But for the most part of the year, it's actually shockingly above 2024. So despite the days on the market, investors appear to be stubborn in terms of the price, and they are getting their price, later than sooner, but it does appear to happen. So days on the market, we talked about that, 98, which is insane. I think that's by far the highest one on all the ones that we report. It's actually up 12, almost 13% over last month, which is crazy. $1.06 in terms of price per square foot. Not a ton of activity here in terms of apartments and condos, but apartments, there's 25 apartments available, much more affordable at the $1,653 dollars per month, $1.74 per square foot. Condos and townhomes, they're building a lot of high-end stuff there. So there's 23 of those available at $2,300 a month. So not too far off the single family average rental price there. Those, shockingly though, have a reasonable days on the market. Look at that, 38 days on the market for condos and townhomes. So those appear to be a little bit more desirable. But days on the market to me is the biggest factor.
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah.
And I think unfortunately, I think it's going to continue because they're continue to build and there's going to continue to be inventory. So if you're going to buy in the Westfield market, you need to understand that this is a long-term play.
Yeah.
This isn't a 6 month or a 1 year, maybe even 2 or 3 year play. You are going to probably need to tighten your belt on those rental prices for the next couple of years for that longer term appreciation, the longer term play. You're going to get a great tenant in there. It's a great great schools, great everything. I mean, it's
all other aspects of owning a property in Westfield is, in my opinion, is glowing. The only downside, there's two downsides that you're probably going to experience, and that's going to be your rental rate is unlikely to cover your immediate costs. So you're going to be coming out of pocket more than likely. And or your average days on market. Your days on market are probably going to be a bit higher because the market is saturated at its current market. But all other aspects, now I know we've kind of sounded doom and gloom here for a second, but aside from those, your appreciation to over the next 3 to 5 couldn't be a better outlook. There is so much infrastructure being built within Westfield, the Grand Park expansion, the town center that they're developing. Your 3 to 5 year outlook is stellar. But if you're picking up a property because 8 months ago we're talking about Westfield being a great market, you're fine, but it is going to be a long-term play, and you're probably going to be coming out of pocket in the foreseeable future.
The other thing, too, to mention, and this is just speculating, but I would be shocked if Westfield doesn't follow suit with Carmel and Fishers and instituting a rental price cap. I haven't heard any rumblings about it, but I can't believe that it's not happening.
What are you doing? I feel like you just called your local congressman and was like, let's put a cap on this. Somebody owns property in Westfield. All right. Yeah. All right. You ready for sales data?
Yeah, let's do some sales data.
All right, let's do it.
All right, sales data, average days on the market, really pretty reasonable for this time of year, 53 days on the market, even though that's up 65% year over year. That means last year was crazy. Price per square foot, $189 per square foot. That's down month over month, but up year over year. Average sales price, kind of like right along there with Fishers and Noblesville, $371, just ever so slightly, just a little bit more. And again, it's because we cap it at $500,000. I think that's why they all kind of coalesce around that. 350 to 375. So, but interestingly, that's down slightly month over month, probably seasonality, and then up 3% year over year. There's 67 homes that have sold this past month, and then we take a look at the two price graphs here. And if you take out the ups and the downs, it's pretty seasonal. Where it peaks it looks more like a rental price graph where it peaks in the summer and then kind of dips down in the winter. And that looks like it's following that same trend that it did last year, because it did dip down in November and December. And it looks like it's following that same trend this year. So we shall see if that continues. And then number of homes sold, again, this is looking very similar to Noblesville and Fishers, where, the vast majority, I would say this is probably maybe just a little bit more expensive. But you can still get homes under 350. They're definitely still there. I see them all the time. I have an alert for Westfield. I see good homes that would work great as rentals for under 350. So it's still an approachable market, even at the 350, with the average sales price of 371. So that's where we are for the sales price or sales data for Westfield.
All right. I don't have anything else to mention on this market, really, aside from that average sales price. Now, due to all of the new construction that's happening at a very fast pace in Westfield, I wouldn't be surprised if that did level out or begin to tick down. I mean, it does say down right at 3.5% month over month. It's hard to build a trend line on the month over month data, but we'll see if that continues as we get into November's market reports.
Yep.